future is here. You now have the power to unlock the secrets of the hobby. An innovation that will change the way the industry works. The game changer is here. Card Ladder.
Hey everyone, this is Josh back with Cardboard Chronicles. Today I'm joined by the famous Lememe James, also known as Christian. How's it going, man?
Doing well. How you doing today, Josh?
Good. It's early in the morning for you, right? I had to wake you up and get you on an interview because you're overseas, right?
That's correct. I'm here over in the Netherlands, and it's 5 a.m., so I woke up just for your ass.
Well, I appreciate it, man. So why don't you kick us off? Tell us about yourself and your background in the hobby.
I think my hobby in the background is traditional, from what you've heard from other people. So started back when I was a kid. So when I say a kid, I think the years I remember most is the Shaq's rookie year. So I was picking up some of his cards, kind of the junk wax era. And then, of course, got out when I was probably going into in high school, and then throughout college, pretty much took a break from the hobby just to focus on life. And then from there, I think I want to say in around 2003, 2004, when I graduated from college, kind of got back into it a little bit. And that, of course, was LeBron's rookie year. That kind of piqued my interest. Like, oh shit! Just like when Shaq was popular when he came in, a lot of people at the time were like, oh, this is the can't miss rookie, and he caught a lot of people's attentions. And so same thing with LeBron's rookie year. It was a really hyped draft class. I remember Exquisite coming out at $500 a pack. That took over the hobby for a minute, and people just gravitated towards Exquisite. Never seen a high-end product like it. Of course, I never bought any. Didn't, as I said, just graduated college, so didn't have the most disposable income, but I was able to pick up some Kobe autographs and grade them through Beckett at that time. And eventually, I said, once I graduated college, I had to start my career. So cards had to take a backseat again. And of course, career, family. And then lo and behold, the 2018 class comes, and again, it's another strong draft class, and it got me back into the hobby. So that's kind of my trajectory in the hobby, and that's where I am today. So it seems like life events took big breaks, but the thing that always got me coming back were just interest in draft class and players, and so here I am today.
And then obviously you're mostly known for the meme accounts. Why don't you talk about that? I don't want to get too much into it because that's that's kind of what everyone talks about. I want to kind of get the collector side of you, but tell us about the social media account. What started that? How you got going on the meme stuff?
Yeah, so I started my IG account probably in early 2019, and it was mostly just posting my collection. But it just kind of transformed itself into a strict meme account now. So I want to say it was in June or July when I made that transformation into a strict meme account. I don't even post cards anymore on it. It's just strictly memes and other type of content, like maybe looking at some posting analytics, not too much, not like Chris House of Jordans or anything like to that level, but just posting some commentary on the hobby and what's going on. So yeah, I made that transition in June or July, and it's just been going ever since. Try to pop off like 3 to 5 memes these days, but I know especially during peak COVID, probably around April or May timeframe, was definitely getting into it was like 10 or 15 a day. But yeah, I know if you look at my feed today, it only has like 70 or 80 posts, but honestly, if I didn't archive things and I didn't clean things out, I think it'll be up at 2,000 posts. So that's where it's at today. I don't think it's going to change. It's something that I enjoy a lot, just creating that type of content. And yeah, will I ever post a card again? Probably not.
So talk about the 2018 draft class. Like what about that draft class kind of got you back into cards, and what specifically in that era of cards 2018 do you enjoy?
Yeah, so I think you're gonna like this answer a lot. So again, I just you're gonna like this answer a lot because it was Trae Young that got me back into collecting. And I know he's one of your favorite players,
Of course.
but I just saw him in Oklahoma, and yeah, even though I took a break from the hobby, I've always liked basketball, and I've always watched the NBA. And me growing up, college basketball was also a really big thing because players would stay in 3 to 4 years, and so you grow some type of attachment towards them, and you'd be more familiar with them. And for some reason, college basketball to me kind of fell off the map. But for some reason in 2018, there was a lot of hype around Trae Young. He's one of the players, and kind of got to watch him some of his games in Oklahoma on YouTube, some of his clips and some games on ESPN. But just his play style, as I said, I've always been watching basketball because he reminded me a little bit of Curry. And so just the skillful player, not the tallest, not the most athletic, but definitely very skillful. He doesn't play a damn ounce of defense. He's pretty much a defensive cone, but just his ability to score and shoot, I really like that play style. So that got me kind of into basketball, back into collecting. So I was like, all right, if this guy's good. I've missed the boat on so many players throughout these years. Let me get back into the hobby. Let me get back to something in my childhood that I loved so much. So really started to, when I started seeing the 2018 product come out from Panini, I just tried to really familiarize myself with the product line. Cause back in the day, it wasn't Panini, it was Upper Deck, it was Fleer, it was Skybox, it was whatever other brands were out there at the time, but had to familiarize myself with the Panini product line. So I think what got me back into the hobby is definitely that draft class and trying to collect Trae Young. And then of course, looking at the rest of the 2018 class, there was other players that piqued my interest as well. Luka Doncic, of course, and then freaking Marvin Bagley. He also piqued my interest. So DeAndre Ayton, all those, pretty much the top 10 of that class. I really, really enjoyed watching play. So that kind of got me back into collecting for sure.
So other than hoarding base Prism PSA 10s, what else do you collect from that year?
So no, I don't hoard base Prism. You know what? I can't stand that. I can't stand those cards. There was a point in time in early, like pretty much the COVID period, right? The quarantine period that we're in. That's all I saw on IG was damn base Prism cards. So I am not into base Prisms. I do have some though, but I definitely don't hoard them. I was when I came back in the hobby, Prism wasn't it for me. Like I was more focused on autographs and rookie patch autographs because that's those were the chase cards back in my heyday. So I never gravitated. I never chased Prism cards. I didn't think anything special of them, which was a big mistake because if I did, my collection would be worth a lot more today. So early on, sadly enough, again, I was trying to do my research, but maybe I didn't do so well. I was buying a collegiate flawless basketball.
But you liked the college connection, so you did it because you liked it.
I wouldn't say I liked the college connection. It was just at the time right when I got back in, and they didn't have much out. It was just collegiate flawless at the time when I came back into the hobby. So I was like, all right, well, that's kind of it. They had what else was out? I think it was Dominion, and that's a dead set now, so no one really even knows what Dominion is. Dominion was out, and then I think Crown Royale was out. So, but I thought the design and look of collegiate flawless was nice. So I bought a lot of Trae Young's cards in that. I've sold all those cards though, because we all know what happens to the collegiate cards once the main releases come out.
So what is your feeling on Prism then? Just like not necessarily specifically Prism, but just sort of the concept of like, base cards and PSA 10s and investing and all that stuff?
I think to be truthful, I think Prism's the biggest sham in the hobby. I really do, because I think it's just a license to print money for Panini. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bitter towards it. I have a lot of Prism cards, but I never knew about this concept of the rainbow, and that just, I understand that most collectors are completionists, right? They want to have the complete run. And so Panini is just playing to those strings, right? So you got, I can't even name them all: silvers, white sparkles, tigers, blues, reds, oranges. I never really understood why they are so popular and why they hold such premiums. But maybe it is based on that completionist theory where we like to complete the entire run. So smart on Panini, they could just print it, whereas it's like a patch, or if it's an autograph, they're certainly a lot more limited and a lot more numbered because it's a higher production cost. So where do I see it? I mean, the cards look great. They look pretty cool in hand, but I'll just never understand the premiums attached on Prism. And that's the more rare Prism numbered parallels. I'm not even talking about the base and the silvers. That was from an investor standpoint. I guess I get it. It's liquidity. You can build price baselines, and there's enough volume out there, so you can really just kind of track it and see where you're at. But I guess if you're investing and that's the asset that's selling the most, it's quick. I guess it works. But yeah, I always just thought it was a license for Panini to print money. That's it.
So what are your thoughts then sort of on the correction we're seeing right now, where some of that stuff's going down and the rare stuff is like going higher than ever right now? Like golden auctions the other night went berserk, PWCC high end, and that base stuff is just sort of like slowly trickling down. What do you think's going on there?
I think the fundamentals of collecting, I think that's starting to really shine through. It's just when you have so much supply, you're only going to have so much buyers. And just listening to you and listening to Chris from House of Jordans, if you're in this to invest or flip and or make money, I mean, that's your main primary goal. I mean, what better target is there than a collector, right? Because collectors, I mean, when they see something that they want, they're probably going to unload their bank account to get it. Versus if you're just flipping a little silver or a base card, eventually your target audience, it runs out. And so I think that's what you're seeing right now with the correction, and it's a massive correction. It's funny when people talk about, when they see something like this, you're talking 50, 60% drops is what you're seeing from peak, right? That's what you're seeing right now with the base Prism stuff and the more common stuff. And people rationalize it different ways. A lot of people talk about, hey, this is not a crash. Hey, this is just the off season. But I mean, corrections to me, it is having some play in the stock market a little bit. Corrections is like 10%. Like that's, a dips pullbacks about 5%, corrections 10%, 15. When you start getting like 50, 60%, that's like lawsuits and bankruptcy and all that. So I understand people are going to say, well, you got to look at the whole time frame and the period. But to see something just drop 50, 60% in a span of, what was it, like 3 to 4 weeks? I think it was August, right? August was the month we all got that whole market just corrected itself. That's definitely interesting to see. And yeah, that's, again, when you have the supply and the buyers run out, the investors run out, that's what happens.
Well, it's giving you lots of material, right? For your memes. I mean, it's got to be, yeah. How do you treat that? Like, I don't want to say you're like rooting for the hobby to go down, but it is like a weird balance for you as like a comedian in the hobby, you know, like you're trying to collect, but also play to your strengths of your memes and kind of like capitalize on some of this comedy that's happening.
Yes, and it's mostly, I say it mostly as maybe reporting, right? I'm not predicting. I guess I have predicted a couple, okay. So that last meme I did with the Grim Reaper, he's going door to door. First was Topps 2020. Then it was Basketball Prism, and then it was Soccer Prism, and then he's got little Charizard in the closed door, and he's coming for Pokemon. So it does give it does give a lot of ammunition for memes, but yeah, I'm not targeting like any individual in particular. It's just mostly commentary on the hobby. So it definitely does give the ammunition, but I don't like seeing anyone lose money. But again, a lot of this base and Silver Prism stuff, it's strictly investors, and they know what they're getting into, right? They know the risks that they're taking. These guys are investors and flippers, and so they know the risk. What I do feel bad for, though, are the collectors that may get caught in the fear of missing out, the FOMO, and that happens a lot. That happens to a lot of us. And so that's another reason why I think you're like you said, these high end grails. That's why you're seeing these record prices, because we do get the fear of missing out, and especially with a low numbered card, you never know when it's going to come back up, right? So you're like, all right, well, I need to come hard on this auction. So, but yeah, it does give a lot of commentary. It does give a lot of chances to make memes on it. It's I guess you can. It could be sad in a way, but like I said, I'm not targeting anyone. Just trying to report what I see, what's going on out there.
Do people get mad at you for that stuff? I'd imagine like some people have quite a bit of money at stake, and I would guess you get some anger towards you.
Yeah, they do. I get either like a lot of, on my comments, I get a lot of the clown emoji, a lot of the clown emoji. I get a lot of DMs. I get, hey, I'm gonna beat you up when I see you at a card show, give you a black eye. I get a lot of that stuff. It doesn't faze me at all. It doesn't faze me at all, though. I mean, after a while, Josh, I mean, and you know how it is. I mean, you just develop thick skin. You get older, you just develop thick skin. It just runs right off. But I do try to reply. I would just say, hey, this is just what I'm seeing. I mean, it's happening. So, if I post a meme about something dropping 60%, that wasn't me who caused it. That already happened, right? And again, I'm just a small little account. So even if I did try to predict something, I don't think I have any influence. I have no influence on the market. That's reserved for like the people with the platforms, the influencers, like someone, SCI or Gary V or anything like that. They may be able to move the hobby in a way of impact prices. But like if I posted a card today, it would probably go down by 10%. That's what I'm saying. So I have no influence. So I don't know why they come at me. But yeah, the soccer was wild because they're very and I don't know if it's collectors and investors, whatever. I think it's a mix. They're very passionate about soccer cards, and they want everyone to love soccer cards. And I just can't. I mean, that. I thought the soccer market was just insane when I'd never seen anything like it. So, but yeah.
I mean, the Pokemon stuff. It's not like you're predicting it's going to go down. It's like it just went up 10x. There's nowhere else for it to go. It's just like we just saw the same thing. It's just people are just jumping ship to the next thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think when you see those periods of you see cards go parabolic, just you're right, 6, 7, 8, 9x. You have to understand that eventually it's going to plateau, and then it has to go down a little bit because it has to, for longevity's sake. You need interest and buying and buyers to come in, right? So it just brings you to the next level. So that's one thing I would tell soccer collectors and investors about. It's like, okay, Mbappe card's $3,000, right? His base World Cup Prism. I think it peaked at $3,000, and the normal collector, and they're gonna stop. They can't afford that stuff. So you got to wait for it to come back down, and to get more people back into buying it. Right, it becomes more affordable. So I think you're seeing that with Pokemon right now. It can't sustain if your buyers have to make 6 figures just to buy a freaking Poliwag or whatever the most Charmander. Like if you need 5 figures to buy a Charmander card, that's not even a foil. Like, come on, it's got to come back down, right? If you want long-term. But again, Pokemon cards been around for a while, but it's not going to, I don't think it can sustain at the price levels it is today. And I actually think you're starting to see a correction in it, if I'm not mistaken. I've been looking at some IG posts out there, and I think you're starting to see the cards correct.
Yeah, I'm sure. They'll have the Eiffel Tower. That's like one of my favorite memes you have with the.
I
think that was Mbappe because of the French team.
Speaking of which, I have one queued up. I was supposed to post it yesterday, but the Eiffel Tower has completed pretty much. And if you look at the chart through Card Ladder, it's a perfect Eiffel Tower. But that's how a lot of cards are looking these days. Was base prisms and silver prism, the more common stuff. You're seeing that.
Interesting. The hobby needed you last week when did you see the whole Pokemon fake box thing? I'm surprised you didn't. The hobby needed you last week, man. We needed you for some memes. Cause the meme thing is important. And I tell this to Chris all the time. And I say that it's like the hobby needs the balance of the meme or the comedic account. Like you've said, you're a collector yourself. So it's not like you're doing this, to like harm the hobby. It's like a balance, right? Do you look at it that way?
I think I do. I think there's just always that we get caught up in the fear of missing out and wanting to be part of something, right? Everyone's making hand over fist. They're just making a whole bunch of cash, and you're just like, damn, this is crazy. Let me get in on this. And I try to put, it's a meme. It's supposed to be funny, but I think it also presents data in a different way, or maybe it can make you think about, this doesn't seem right. Like when you see these cards 5, 6, 7xing, maybe this doesn't seem right. Like there's thousands of these cards. Why are they doing that? And like one thing I like to talk about is manipulation. I like to make memes on manipulation and what people are doing out there, looking at bidding history, or just, if you look at cards enough, when something is not natural, like the demand just spikes too high. And so I like to just put stuff out there and it may make people think twice about paying $3,000 for a base Prism card, and so it's not, I think it's just that good balance of just maybe pumping the brakes a little bit. I mean, like I said, if there's like 10,000 of a card, I think that's the population for Zion or Luke. It's some crazy amount. If there's 10,000 of them, there's no need to buy at peak. Like you're going to get a chance to buy that card again. Just kind of chill out and just pick your spots. So I think it provides some balance.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a friendly reminder, right? To have fun and, laugh at yourself and kind of enjoy things from a different, because like the investing stuff is so serious, and it's nice to have at least one account we can go to. There's a couple, like yourself and Tyler, Sports Guy. There's a couple accounts where you can go and at least know you're not going to get spoon-fed this, investor to the moon kind of crap all the time.
Yeah. I will say though that I think when I've looked at the memes that I put out, I don't put out too many like cheerleader ones. Like I don't put out any ones that like if a card went up like 5, 6x, like there's it's a happy post. I don't think I've ever done that. So, when we talk about balance, maybe, no, you know what? There are enough counts on IG that pump shit up. I don't need to do that. So I don't think you'll ever see that on my account.
The 2 best memes you ever had. I really like the memes you make for me. Obviously, I think they're hilarious. Like you did the one where training day, where like he walked into the neighborhood and like it's me in football and they all look at me like, oh, what the fuck. And then the Honda Civic one, obviously, that one was the best.
I've had yeah. So I think I could count. I've put 4 memes out on you, and so 2 of them were the training days because I just remember one day I was just scrolling through Instagram, and I know you as a basketball guy. I've watched your shows, and they're all basketball, right? And all of a sudden, I see your IG post. You know, fucking Michael Thomas. I'm like, what the hell is this? I was laughing for like, and I saw some of the comments, and you're starting to get roasted about, you know, posting football cards.
I was getting a lot of DMs about that, dude. A lot. Like, people were mad at me.
I thought it was hilarious because it surprised me. So I had to put out the training day meme, and that's just a classic meme for that stuff. Because I've actually used that cutscene before. I think when it was when Zion came out, and I said, "Hey, when your fellow Luka collectors start collecting Zion, all right?" So for you, I was like, "All right." So it seemed, and when you posted, for some reason, when you posted your football cards, I started seeing other football cards come out from basketball collectors. So I was like, "All right, I got to put this out. This is a perfect scenario for it." And then recently, you posted your Pokemon collection. I know you've had that for a while. You probably never posted on your feed because you're all basketball. But when I saw you post the Pokemon cards, I had the same cutscenes, the same damn thing. Like now I'm seeing all these Pokemon cards come out. So
you don't play favorites, man. Nobody's safe, right? Like
exactly. And then what was the other was your Honda? I mean, one of your crossovers with Chris.
Because someone was like saying something about how I'm rich or something, and I had made a comment like, you know, it's not all about like how you show your wealth. It, like true wealth is actually, you know, like just between you and your wealth, right? It's not like how you flaunt it. And I was like, look, I'll show you guys on the live. I just like went into my garage. I was like, look, I drive a 07 Honda Civic.
Hey, John, you don't strike me off as the guy who's gonna spend all your money on like Supreme gear and all this and have all these like high-end Jordans. Like I think most collectors with that collector mindset, they're very like, you know, business savvy and very prudent with their money. So it wasn't no surprise when you brought the iPhone or whatever you're filming on, the crossover on, into the garage, and out I just see this beautiful silver Civic. You see this wonderful silver Civic. I'm like, you know what? That's the most Josh damn car that just makes sense to me. So yeah, all I did was I think I found a picture of a Civic, threw you in the driver's seat. Had to put your boy Trey Young in the back because I know he's one of your favorite players. Dropped you at the Nationals, and then had to put the spinning rims on it. So yeah, that was I think that was my third meme on you. And then the last one was when you were talking about some people ghosting you on IG. They don't check their DMs or something like that. So
oh yeah,
happens.
Yeah. Oh, when you throw your phone in the lake, that's like my.
It happens, man. You know, you respond to someone on IG with a price. They're little
immediately.
Well, yeah. I mean, for you, like if you threw the phone in the ocean, he never saw it. But you know, normally when you reply with a price, you know when someone's typing on IG or the DMs, you see the little like bubble come up.
Yeah.
Well, that bubble turns into a ghost if they don't like your price. But yeah, those are the memes that I remember about you. And no one's safe. It doesn't matter who you are. Everyone thinks I'm only focusing on sports card investor or other prominent figures in the hobby. Nah, don't matter to me. If someone puts something out there that I find I could put something out on, I'll just do it. You know.
Do people send you requests a lot? Like, oh, please make a meme of me or make a meme of this guy that I saw. Do you get that a lot?
I do get that a lot. In my DMs, I do get, and it's not necessarily anyone in particular. They'll see something funny online, maybe a funny video, or they'll see a topic that came up. They'll just email and say, hey, you got to make a meme on this. And I try to, but sometimes it's not possible. Like just the content or just the video itself or the picture that they're sending me, I can't put it together. Like, so I try to focus on, I've been really trying to focus on my quality these days of what I'm putting out. And so maybe that's why my posts have gone down to about 3 to 4, because I try to put a little bit more thought into it. But yeah, there are some things that I can't put anything together. And if I did, it'd be sloppy. So I just don't.
What's the craziest thing you've been asked to make?
I'd say when it's more of maybe if it's more of a attack on an account, like maybe they had some beef with like another IG account. I'm like, what am I going to talk about that? That makes sense to me. Like, I mean, I think I remember someone bought a repack, and I don't know how much he paid for it, but probably got like 3% of his value back or something like that. And he's like, you need to do a meme on this repack. It's trash. And well, you bought it. Like, you bought the repack. Anyone who knows repacks, there's only so many amount of legit repack sellers. There ain't much out there. There's maybe like 2 or 3 that I know of. And so the risk. Well, to me, a repack, that's nothing more than moving your trash. Like, you tell me, John, if you did a repack, would you put your PC grails in there? No, you're gonna put the stuff you're trying to get, you can't get rid of. That's what you're gonna throw at the me. You may throw one chaser in there, but you're gonna put all of the cards you don't want. So again, there are some legit repacks out there. So but for the most part, let's be real. Like, that's what a repack is. Same thing with pulls. You remember pulls? You remember that time when people were selling pulls, right? So like you pay like $5 for a pull, and you pick a number, and they have a stack of cards, and so that was another thing I remember memeing about that though back in the day. But yeah, I those are some of the requests I get. And again, I'm not so much into like attacking like personal accounts like that. That's not really what I want to do. So yeah.
Should have made a meme about how buying repacks is stupid and just turned it around on them.
Yeah, well, yeah, I could have done that, but nah. Again, I think for the most part, I only probably, I would say if you looked at my memes, like when it has someone's face on it, like an IG person's user's face, they're mostly a little bit up there. Like, people will recognize their face. Like if I put Joe Schmo, no one's ever seen before. Like, I don't think it had the same impact on a meme as say putting on Mr. Jeff Wilson. Like, there's that also.
Yeah. So I want to jump into this a little bit, but you also collect video games, right? And you've been showing that a little bit more recently. Talk about just like your background in collecting video games, what that's about. I haven't discussed it on my channel yet, but it's something I've noticed a couple guys doing.
Yeah, I want to say again, this started through COVID, and I was just bored at home. I telework a lot these days, so I want to say mid-March, just kind of fumbling around, and I came across sealed video games and them being graded. And I thought that was like the wildest thing that I've seen, because I mean, that's what I grew up. I grew up playing video games and collecting cards, so kind of brought me back to my childhood. And I was like, man, these games survived all those years. I think that's pretty cool that they're being graded. And so that's what kind of got me into it. I just looked at it a little bit more, and then really just tried to focus on buying the games that I played growing up and that I enjoyed. So it's not any type of investment or anything like that. Although it is becoming an alternate investment, right? Alternative investment that you're seeing going on. Same thing with cards, right? But you're starting to see that in video games as well, because the prices are becoming too high. But yeah, that's what I just started picking up the games that I enjoyed playing growing up. Super Mario Brothers, like Ninja Gaiden, the ones that I could afford. Certainly, the other games that I grew playing up, they are already out of reach in March, and they've become more out of reach within the past month or two. So I just find it interesting that in a video game, which we didn't collect video game. I mean, we bought them. We never bought doubles. Like that wasn't in our vocab. That wasn't even a thought process back then, right? You just bought the game and you opened it and you played it. So for something to survive sealed for 10, 20 years, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. But I think we're seeing this surge in all these collectibles and investing, and it's like it's basically like every subgroup of collectibles is getting its day right now, and it's just like everyone wants to know why, and people want to get in on it because they want to make money. Like, what's going on? It's just like nothing isn't going up in price in terms of collectibles. Is it just like the 90s kids thing? Like, what else do you think it is?
I think it has a little to do with that. I think a lot of folks that grew up in the 90s are now established. They have more disposable income, so they can get into these type of collectibles that bring them back maybe to your childhood are some of the best years in your life. So that nostalgia factor brings you back. I think COVID also has a lot to do with it as well, and it does for me because when I say disposable income, that's the stuff that I normally use for like vacations and going out to eat, right? Going to movies and doing all this stuff, and can't really do that right now. So there's a lot more disposable income out there that's able to be funneled into these collectibles. So I think it's a combination of those two that are in play, and who knows when normal when life gets back to normal, what that does, and how that impacts any type of these hobbies, these collectibles.
All right, well, why don't you finish off by just showing some stuff people maybe don't even know you collect just because of the meme thing. So like, let's see some proof.
All right, so I don't have the monsters like some of your other past guests, but I do have some interesting cards here. This is a Topps 2020 Shore Ken Griffey Jr. I think the print run's about 100,000 on this. I paid like $15 for this card. I think it's worth like $1 now. So this is cool. You can give these away as parting gifts. Actually going to come out with a meme on this one. I figured out how to use this as a keyboard weight. So when I'm teleworking, I put this on my space bar or a key, and it keeps my green light on. So it looks like I'm working the whole day throughout my shift. Another card I have, and that's just one idea that I have with the Topps 2020. There's a lot you can do with this card, but it's my first idea. Again, I've heard you can use these as coasters as well, but honestly, the plastic's probably worth more than the card. You know about this card, right, Josh?
I still give those away with cards that I sell.
You still have some?
Yeah, I got a bunch of them. Dude, I think I bought like 25 of them.
You bought 25?
Yeah. Dude, I want to get rich too, don't we all? Look at that.
I said you were a prudent, savvy collector, and then you go off and buy 25 Griffies.
Yeah, well,
hey,
you won't be laughing when I'm rich.
We all get caught up in that FOMO. All right, so that's the Griffey. Here's my next card. I'll show you. So as I said, when I got back into collecting in late 2018, early 2019, this was actually came out later in the year, but this is a Marvin Bagley Flawless out of 5. So, and then this is the NBA Flawless. This was an $800 card when I bought it. This card right here. and it's probably worth maybe 150 today. So that was a big loss that I took. I mean, it's an unrealized loss, but I don't think he'll ever get back. But that just goes to show you how prospects definitely can't pan out. He's supposed to be a sure thing for Sacramento, but that's what happens. That's what happens when you prospect. It's always a dangerous game, right? All right, so let me just show some of my cards here.
Everybody only shows the LeBrons and the Jordans and the Lucas. What are you doing? People are confused now.
Yeah, that's just a reminder. Prospecting's tough, and that's another thing, real quick, is that for these prospectors out there, when you hit on a prospect, you got to hold on to that damn card. You got to hold on to those guys because you got in early. I know the 2, 3, 4, 5x gain may be very alluring, but yeah, hold on to those guys. I mean, if you don't really need the money, hold on to it. All right, so showing off some cards here. I don't think you can see these, but it's your favorite player. And most of the cards I'm going to show you is all Trae Young because that's who I collect. I have some other cards, but I wanted to show you your favorite player. This is my investment pick right here, all right? So this is Trae Young. These are courtside golds. These are out of 10. Got these.
Love the courtsides, man.
Yeah, courtside golds are awesome. Just the in-game shots.
2 of the 10 is pretty sweet, man. Those are tough cards to get, obviously.
Yeah, they look good in hand. But yeah, anything gold that that's taken off. I bought this back in the day. Again, my collection would look a lot better if I had followed the crowd into Prism. But I do have a couple Prism. This is probably my favorite one. I don't think you can really see it though. But it's a white sparkle, Trae Young. I like the way the white sparkle looks. This is his optic. This is a black velocity right here. I think these ones are tough. The centering's always left to right are just terrible on those. So, and this one is terrible, but BGS, I got a 9 on centering, but it did gem. So this was a PSA 8. It made it to a
really?
Yeah. This was a PSA 8. This was a PSA 9. Now it's a 9.5. And then this was a PSA 9, and now it's a 9.5. God bless Beckett. Although Josh, it doesn't really matter because the BGS slab is deteriorating right before our eyes. So these 9.5s could be worth as much as PSA 9 slabs soon, right? So
yeah,
the deterioration of Beckett. That's something right there. Mostly everyone is winning during this pandemic and the resurgence of sports cards. I guess Beckett is winning because they have a backlog now too, so I'm sure they're doing fine. A couple others. These are Star Swatch Trae Youngs and PSA 10. So, these are normally tough to grade, especially with PSA. The thicker cards, they're so prone to chipping and on the corners and edges. And then of course when it's an autograph like this,
yeah,
and then an insertion of a patch, there's more room to have damage to the card. Send the card off to a player who knows what he's doing with it, throwing them around and not really taking care of them. Maybe, but Trae Young did a good job. Those got 10, so he must have kept them. And then some others. These are the vertical ones. This one's a gold one, and then this one's to 15. And so,
yeah, when like Aaron Fox.
Did you see that video?
Yeah, I've seen it. He's like tossing him, dude.
Yeah, he's tossing him. He just dumps him on the ground. But yeah, again, like the patch autograph stuff to me was, I think that's my mindset on that is just, I think that stuff really blew up. When Exquisite first came out, that stuff was loaded with patch autographs, like the limited logos, and then of course the RPAs as well. That's why I gravitated towards the patch autographs, just because you're only going to get so many of those. And I just think it's cool to have the actual autograph and a game. I don't know if, I think the Exquisites were game used, but Flawless is game used. But I couldn't afford National Treasures, so I didn't buy National Treasures.
That's sweet stuff, dude. It's rare and it's the player you like. So, I mean, that's a real like collector set of Trae Youngs right there.
Yeah, I think it has a little bit of that, the norm, like the hyped up Prism stuff, but the Flawless stuff. Not many people seem to like Flawless, but I do because I like the clean design. So yeah, that's why I bought it. Again, none of this stuff is bought to try to flip. I mean, if that was the case, I already sold the damn things. But yeah, I guess one day I will sell them. But right now, I'm just too lazy. Too lazy to sell. I don't even have, the only way I sell is on eBay too. I don't even sell on my IG account. I just kind of keep all that stuff away. So yeah.
Yeah. Having the focused IG account is like a pretty good way to like keep your follower base growing, keep people interested. If you start like teetering around with different things, people get confused. And
yeah, I think you're definitely on right there with the focus. And even then, like, it's strictly hobby me. I mean, I do cross into the sports side of things. I mean, we have to, right? We collect sports cards, but it's mostly purely like hobby related topics. And, maybe that caps it a bit. That's fine. It's who knows how many people are in this hobby now. I've never, I didn't, when I see some accounts now and how much reach and influence they're getting, that surprises me. This hobby's grown so much in the past, 6, 7, 8 months since March. Like, it's grown so much. So, it's crazy to see the growth, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man, leave us with one bit of advice or wisdom before you go.
One piece of advice or wisdom from me. Let's see. Yeah, so I think what's nice about the hobby is you don't have to have like a massive 5, 6, 7 figure collection. I don't even know, some people get that high, but you don't have to have a crazy collection to be involved and have fun in it. I think if you treat it in a way that makes it fun and enjoyable, I think that's the best way to go about it. Once you start getting, if that's your focus to make money and that's your grind and hustle, I mean, I understand that. That's what you got to do. But if you don't have to do that, I think keep it as a hobby, keep it fun. That's what I do. And so I guess that's my one piece of advice. If your livelihood doesn't depend on it, it's a hobby. It should be fun.
Yeah. Like I talk about with Chris, people that are looking at it from that perspective and they're having more fun, they're the ones doing the best investing wise anyways. So they kind of go hand in hand. If that's really what you're at, like if you're focused on the investing, it's not going to work out as well if you're having fun with it.
This is what happens when you focus on investing. Right here.
That's right.
He's undervalued. I need to buy it before everyone does. Let me go buy a bunch of this stuff. There's the proof right there. It's prospecting is a tough, the investing side. It's just, it can be brutal. It really can. And when you start losing, if you're in it purely for investing and you start losing money, that's not fun. And when something's not fun, something's not enjoyable, guess what happens? You leave. People leave. They don't want to do it anymore. So I think the growth of our hobby is definitely, we need the investors, right? They kind of bring another side to it, but this has always been a collectible. It's always been pursued by collectors. And I think in order for our hobby to continue growing, we just need those collectors to keep coming in. And so, because they're the ones that stay, Josh. So.
Collecting and investing, that's what we need. Education. We need more education, making sure people understand. And I think your account plays into that, right? Like you're doing it in a fun way, but I think that's what gets people's attention. And you're educating while you're doing it, not to get burned as much.
Yep. I think just seeing some something presented in a different format, maybe that helps. Maybe that gives someone a different angle on something, a different point of view. Can make people think, right?
I liken it to Jon Stewart. I said this to Tyler Sports Guy, but Jon Stewart kind of did that for politics, right? Like it's, a lot of people don't like politics. It's kind of confusing, but he sort of like put a comedic spin on it, but he also like has his opinions and teaches people about it and tries to educate through it. And I think the meme accounts and hobby are very similar to that.
And they're growing by the day, Josh. The meme accounts and the hobby are growing by the day.
They've got a long hill to climb to get to your level.
Hey, there's some counts coming up. Yeah, they're getting better. So I guess one day the hobby will be memed out, and I'll just have to leave because it'll get it'll get saturated. So, but yeah, again, anyone putting content out there like yourself, you and Chris do the crossover, and yeah, even Jeff Wilson, the sports card, like anyone putting content out there, it's good. Like, it's providing entertainment for people, because we all need some damn entertainment these days. Tell you what, we all need that these days, and today especially. I guess it's nighttime where you're at over there in Phoenix, but I think tomorrow is going to be a crazy day in the U.S., right? So I'm kind of glad I'm here in Europe, and while I'm sleeping, all that stuff's going to be happening tomorrow. So it'll be an interesting day for sure.
Yeah, we all need the hobby tomorrow more than ever.
Hey, come to my page. I promise you, I won't have anything political on it. It's purely hobby.
That's good. Just like people say about LeBron, just make the damn memes.
Shut up and meme.
Yeah, shut up and meme.
I think so. I think that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow for you guys.
All right, man. Thanks for the time. This is great. Talk to you soon.
Yep. Thanks, Josh.